Here now is Hadley Heath Manning, Independent Women's Forum Policy Director, and Gianno Caldwell, Fox News analyst. Thanks to both of you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
Hadley, let me start with you. William Barr it's one of his stated goals was to try and restore confidence in the Justice Department and, in fact, our entire system. It seems like he's gone out and tried to be patient and calm and non-emotional and answer questions at every turn. He has another opportunity to do it here. Do you think that he's making any progress towards his stated goal of restoring confidence?
Well, maybe with a small group of people who might still be undecided about how they feel about the Mueller investigation, but the vast majority of Americans have pretty much decided how they see it, and it largely breaks on partisan lines. So if you ask Americans, as a recent NPR poll did, are you satisfied with the result, the complete investigation? About 78% of Republicans say that they are, and 35% of Democrats say that they are not satisfied. And an even more lopsided question is whether people see this investigation and the report as an exoneration of President Trump from wrongdoing, or whether questions still exist. So unfortunately, I think regardless of the valiant efforts of Attorney General Barr and others to restore confidence in good government, a lot of people have already decided how they feel about President Trump and how they feel about this investigation.
Well, but those are different questions, Gianno. I mean, I think that's true. If you ask people about the investigation, they have an opinion about President Trump, and even about, good government or confidence in government. Forget it. But having confidence in our justice system and the FBI and the rule of law is that's a separate and, in my mind, bigger question. And maybe if he can methodically plod along and include, he had Rod Rosenstein over his shoulder when he was standing at the podium, and there's a decidedly, he kind of calms the tone when he's out there and fielding questions from both sides that are upset. Do you think he can make any headway to that front in this week when he goes for questioning?
I think he will. He's been fairly consistent. And as you said, he's been kind of patient, calm, and address questions. Yes, there's a desire by many to make this much of a political operation and say that William Barr is acting as a political surrogate, if you would, on behalf of the president. And I don't think that's true. When we think about the rule of law and this investigation, the Russian investigation in and of itself, over half of Americans believed it to be a witch hunt, according to the USA Today poll. So considering the fact that the president right now, who feels like he's been wronged, and based on the investigation results, he was wronged by so many in the media, so many on the left, and even some on the right saying that, hey, he probably did collude with Russia. This is the kind of reaction that you'll get from the president. We see the comments he's made about the investigation. Yeah. And thank God he's now installed an attorney general who's willing to do the job and do it right and not recuse himself from the investigation during this time, but also be able to talk openly about the results of the investigation.
Hadley, what do you think are the dangers for both parties as William Barr comes to the Hill next week?
Well, neither party should attempt to overplay their hand when it comes to this investigation. I think Democrats have seen the Mueller investigation as an opportunity to paint President Trump in a bad light, to turn it into a 2020 campaign issue. But in the poll that I mentioned earlier, independents are actually siding with Republicans on this one, with 52% of them saying they're satisfied with the completed investigation. I think Americans, in large part, independent sort of swing voters, are exhausted with the news hype over the investigation. So to continue to press and press and press, rather than to talk about the issues that are of great importance to Americans, whether it's how much we just paid in our tax bills, which, thanks to the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, we're better off, or talking about healthcare costs and how to continue to contain those. Those pocketbook issues are much more important to mainstream America than this investigation.
Gianno, real quick, last word. You agree?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And I think Democrats need to pull back from trying to create a narrative as to why the investigation was necessary. They need to leave Russia alone and focus on what the American people gave them the majority in the House for. And that was health care being one of the big issues. So
get to work.
Hopefully they can. Yeah,
get to work.
We should see that.
Fix
hopefully
some stuff.
We will.
Yeah, get to work.
Probably
All right,
not,
we solved it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.